Cool.
It's been interesting trying to...
Ketchup on the table?
Ketchup? Yeah, there's ketchup on the
Fuck,
table.
I can't hear anything.
Right, okay, cool. Let me just put up the agenda as well.
Yeah.
2 seconds. Rennie, are you okay setting up a minutes document as well?
Yeah, I can just copy and paste the old one.
Cool. And guys, in the chat, I'll add in the sort of agenda, but it's a very light agenda. So if anybody wants to add anything or change anything out, then feel free. Renee's just put in the minutes doc, and I've just added in the agenda. First of all, I mean, if anybody's not used Zoom before, if you're not talking, try to mute your microphone just so it stops anybody else picking up anything in the background. It makes it easier for everybody to hear what's happening. We're probably going to be a bit light on this call in comparison to the one that we did 2 weeks ago. So there's just been a few people in the last couple of hours who've had to head out to various different things. So we're going to be a bit lighter on this one. If anybody wasn't here for the one as of 2 weeks ago, we did general introduction. We introduced the laps that we were working on, and we'll probably follow the same. We'll probably follow the same form this week as well. So starting off, does anybody want to sort of introduce who they are, what they're working on, especially people that weren't on a call as of 2 weeks ago? Or maybe a better way to do it is if I start off. So I'm working with a few guys on Bitlam. We're building we're working on a few different applications on Lightning Network. We're working on Zigzag initially, which is a digital asset exchange built over Lightning. We've worked on a few other things, but yeah, our main focus is working on different Lightning different applications built on top of Lightning. Renee, maybe you want to give an overview of what you're working on?
Sure. So I'm currently trying to work on education. I will give a little bit input later on. So in order to provide more educational resources for Lightning to help people onboarding.
Okay, cool. Anybody else want to introduce what they're doing or what they're working on?
Well, Ori from Graph here, guys, working on reducing friction for Lightning here for consumers and businesses as well.
Cool. You're working with Pavel, yeah?
Correct. Is Pavel here?
I'm not sure if he is. He was on the one as of 2 weeks ago, but I don't think he's on this one.
Hey guys, nice to join you. It's Vasily from Lightning Pitch.
Ah, cool. For anybody that doesn't know, if I'm explaining it right, your Lightning Peach is the Bit Fury team that's looking into Lightning. There's a few of you guys, isn't there? There's 3 or 4 of you, I think, that are floating around the group at the moment.
Yeah, there is about 5/5 of us. So it's Pavel, our CEO. I'm working regarding the marketing and community management. There is also our business analyst and our business development manager also in the group of Lightning makers.
You guys are based mainly in you're dotted all over, but you're mainly Moscow at the minute?
No, we have an R&D office in Kiev. Some of us are in Moscow and part of us in Canada, Toronto.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we have like a broad scope of team which are situated in different countries and time zones. That's why some of us can be in this call because it's already 10 o'clock of Sunday. Yeah, so someone with family, whatever, yeah.
Awesome, cool. Who else? Who else wants to explain what they're working on?
Hi, this is Carlos Borlado. from Madrid, and I represent Lightning Family, Lightning Network Family, which is a project that tries to make a test on how resources can be accessed by, can be put there by a big number of crowdsourced people, and can be retrieved by the market in a way that microtransactions make sense to redistribute value. So it's like a knowledge marketplace in which people create a lot of content that are value for the market in a visual and structured way that can be used by many others that don't understand easily and are happy to pay microtransactions for curated and added value knowledge. So we are trying to make a test here with Lightning Network resources in a broad sense. So that means projects, startups, educational staff, venture capitalists, etc. So all the knowledge that is spread there in many places, put it together in a way that can be readily accessible, easily understood by mainly outside the community. So it's a project. It's a test that we're doing for a larger project that tends to do the same thing with whole technology. So we're trying now with Lightning Network, just because it is a technology that we're going to use to start doing microtransactions.
Okay, cool. This is the resource. It's a resource map as well. I think you guys had you put up a link.
Yeah, Carlos Roland here. Send you privately called lightning.family, and yes.
Carlos, your connection my side isn't great. Maybe the other Carlos can weigh in on that. Anyway, okay, let's move on. Anyway, is there anybody else that wants to sort of introduce what they're doing? Or are we cool to move on? Rene, do you want to introduce a bit about what you're doing, or for anybody that wasn't here on the previous call?
Yeah, well, I think I already had my turn, but if everyone else has introduced themselves, I think the next point on the agenda is already talking about team updates. I mean, that's part of the introduction, I guess.
Yeah, so, I was hoping from my side we might have a bit more input into how our Zigzag mainnet release is going, because we're pushing on that this month. But there's no real updates as of 2 weeks ago that I could probably give on that. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that's been working on anything on this call that would like to give an update. I appreciate we kind of light on the numbers this week, but yeah, I mean, Ori, if you want to give an overview of what Graph's up to, or
well, I won't go into it too much, but I am happy to announce to you guys here we have been approved for our bank account. We're signing on Wednesday. We'll probably be operational next week. So hopefully one of the first Lightning companies here with fiat rails. We'll be able to do Canadian dollar out of the gate, and hopefully other pairs within the next few months.
That's cool. That was it? I feel like Pavel was saying 2 weeks ago you guys were working through that, yeah?
Yeah, it's been ongoing I've been working on it for 6 months, and it really just, the rubber hit the road in the last 6 weeks, and yeah, the approval finally came through.
Awesome. So how long did that process take for you guys to do? It was a full 6 months from beginning to end?
Well, a lot of it was discovery for me, understanding where we fit in the regulatory climate, what types of laws we had to comply with, what's changing in the next 15 months, because Canada has incoming law changes for virtual currency. So it was understanding FinTrack, how money service businesses are regulated, and then we actually wrote our own compliance program. We didn't retain any legal help or anything, and that took us a good few weeks to write that. It was about a 150-page compliance manual. So that's kind of the process.
It'd be pretty cool to understand more about as well, did you get questions about Lightning Network? Because there's been, I think, quite a few guys that were working on different projects that had issues, regulatory issues about, is it classed as money transmission, and loads of other things popping up. So I mean, it'd be pretty interesting. Yeah, I know it's probably difficult to give an overview on this call, but maybe in the chat during the week, you might be able to drop some knowledge on that as to what well, at least what that bank considered Lightning Network to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, and truthfully, our bank didn't know what Lightning Network was. We had to explain it to them, and just a tip, we were just insistent that it's a reduced risk profile over other, like if you're just doing Bitcoin OTC, although we got approved for that too. Anything on Lightning should be reduced risk for the banks because you can actually put exceptional amounts of money through it.
Cool. Awesome. Anybody else have any questions on that, or?
Yeah, actually I do. I mean, for example, this document with 150 pages, I mean, I guess there's also some business sensitive information in there. But would it be possible to share some parts of this document or some parts that are interesting, maybe in a couple of blog posts or so? Because I think when you already went through all this, I mean, probably even if I'm not based in Canada, it might be interesting for other people to see this, or is this completely confidential?
No, I'm happy to share with you guys. I mean, there's no point in competing in a space where you're the only competitor. I'd rather have a bunch of you guys so that I know the market's there. So yeah, happy. Maybe we'll do a blog post. Maybe we can do some video stuff. But I'm happy to go into more depth about how we did it. And like I said, we didn't even need a lawyer to do it. So it obviously isn't required if you understand the law a little bit. But I'm confident a lot of you guys are smart enough to figure it out.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Anybody else want to update? I think I feel like Cap Dog is somewhere on this call. I feel like Shock Wallet might have some updates on at least the covers that have been made if he's on the call.
Yeah, I'm here. I've been. I'm not sure my microphone's working, but
no, I can hear you. Dead mic. Okay, maybe not. Well, from what I see, there was some 3D printing going on as well around some of Cat Dog's work. So if anybody, I think he was looking for industrial scale 3D printer. So if anybody has access to one of them, I feel like there might be interest there. All right, cool. Anybody else want to talk? I don't know, Lightning Peach, is there anything that you guys can share of what you guys are working on or towards? I saw that there was a Lightning Peach wallet video that popped up, I think shortly after our last call, that looked pretty interesting. You guys were doing this minute streaming payments by minute in the wallet, something like that. I don't know if you can share more about that.
Yeah, so I'm actually encouraging you guys to join our beta testing. We are soon launching officially our wallet, and we need more help from industry leaders, opinion leaders as well, to give your thought about our wallet. Yeah, so we actually launched our, let's say not launched, but we internally launched our video where we describe what it's like video tutorial about the Lightning Peach wallet. And soon we will also release a merchant plugin and hub operating system. So it's more now under developing. That's why I can't say such more details. But I think I will send a Google form. So if anybody wants to join the program and to see our product and I don't know, see what you're thinking about that, we'll be really appreciate this and guaranteeing some cool prizes that we specially make for our community for that. And regarding the stream payments, yeah, we are actually thinking about the use cases, how to implement stream payments into existing ecosystem of video. So let's say now you can pay by subscription for one video, but there's also a business opportunity if you want, let's say, watch not the whole video, but this, let's say, some part of it. And we invited this feature, which is called stream payments, where you can pay with satoshis, or let's say with currency, for some period of your time you watched. It's actually, you can see this feature in our wallet if you will be a part of our beta testing program. Yeah, it's like, long story short.
Oh, that's cool. I think I was interested in it just because I think it's one of the few wallets where I'd seen this pay per minute, or I forget how you guys worded it, but it reminded me of the like the HTLC Dash PowerPoint that I think Lalu did, which was around like micropayments for sort of like decentralized media streaming. I'm not sure if you guys have seen any of that stuff, but it talks about this.
No, actually, I hadn't heard. Can you please send a link for this one? If you can.
Let me see if I can find it now. But it was a really cool presentation. It covered like time slices of media, so encoding the slices, and there was stuff around Dash clients and trying to think what else I don't know. I'll have to see if I can. I'll try. It'll take me a bit of digging to find it because it was a while ago, but it was a really cool paper, and
Yeah, and also I didn't know is anybody, are there someone see that we launch a Lightning Network Monitor? So it's an analyzing tool which helps to deep deeper into Lightning Network in context of network updates, mean and median channel lifetime, and a bunch of other criteria, and to see the network. So I will send the link to our website. Actually, this monitor is already launched. We just not published it officially, so I will be happy to introduce this, let's say, internally. So if somebody see and want to look at it, I'm just sending the link.
Yeah, cool. I didn't see anything in the week go up about it, so yeah.
Yeah, it just let's say we just launched it on our website. So actually, anyone who go through the website can see it, but it's not like launched officially through media channels yet.
Okay. No, I'm just looking at it now. Okay, cool. I've added in the into the chat that paper if you wanted to have a look at it, and I've also put it in the Telegram as well. Cool. I mean, unless anybody else wants to give any overview before we can move on, and then I think we've got Rene talking about some of the learning education stuff. Carlos, I don't know if it's the same for everybody else.
Yeah, me neither. I have bad connection as well.
Implement custom payment procedures such as pay-per-click.
I'm sorry, Carlos. Can you please write down your question, because the connection is really low, and if you write down this into the chat, I think it would be much more better to hear the question.
Vasil, meanwhile, I also have a question for the streaming approach that you're doing. I have a friend in Germany who is thinking about podcasts and make them pay per minute or something like this. So how do you approach this? Do you have a standardized protocol that you're following or developing, or are you just having a solution to do this around Lightning, or is there something open source on this, or what's the status quo actually there?
Yeah, so our wallet is open source. So as soon as we launch it, the whole feature set will be open to the community. As for now, we are looking for partnerships and use cases to make this feature more practical. You know what I mean? So as for now, there is no standard protocol. It's just feature that we're trying to use case with some company. We have some examples how to use it, but it's still under development of our business development manager. It's Yuri. He's in Canada, so we looking to the new companies with whom we can cooperate. So if your friend or the partner is interested in integrating stream payments and how much to use it, we will be happy to cooperate with him.
Yeah, I think we could really use help on that. Like, we're seeing right now that it's super early for Lightning, but as a startup, we're really focused on driving revenue. So one of the things we're looking at doing is like pilot projects and trying to just launch large implementations in one shot. So I may need some of your guys' help with, because you're much more technically savvy than us.
Yeah, cool. Ori, let's keep in contact. Like, so we can, I don't know, make up a call, like the separate one, discuss the points of our contact where we can help each other.
Yeah, that would be great. And we're kind of getting urgent on a wallet right now that we can go operational. So definitely let's circle back and chat.
Yeah, I will send my email, so I will be happy to talk with you anytime.
Sure, sounds good. I'll put mine in the chat as well.
Cool.
Great. Okay, so unless anybody else has anything to add, I think Rene, the floor's all yours for this. The education stuff.
Okay.
Something?
So, no, sorry. Someone else wanted to say something.
Yeah, Carlos apparently has a very poor connection right now. He's apparently traveling train, so that's why he is struggling to transmit some things. In our team, he's a tech leader, so I can explain poorly the technical things related to Lightning Network. But something I would like to introduce is that in Berlin, we are going to put a couple of challenges for us, for our business model. We're trying to make complete new marketing platform business model based on contents, as I said. So it is, and we think that the natural evolution of microtransactions is automation of them. So something that we need to do is to be able to make payment per click. So contents that are owned by many people that contribute for getting a good quality and update of such information are going to be accessed by people who are willing to make micropayments. So what we want to do is being able to offer something, a platform that the user pays once he's accessing or she's accessing too many contents, and that payment is distributed among a number of people who is the legitimate owner of that information. Okay, so we really believe that it introduces a huge range of possibilities in digital marketing. So we're going to put that challenge there, and we are going to offer a bounty in Berlin for the developers that may be happy to help us with the challenge to create that pay-per-click and automation of transactions from one channel to other many channels. It doesn't have to be simultaneous. Probably it has to be, but needs to be optimized, and which involves first of all creating or developing a wallet inside browser. So the challenge will be first a wallet, and then the pay-per-click protocol. We believe we know that it is quite ambitious, but we are going to try to make I don't know, something that we believe it can be achievable in the few hours that the teams are going to be there. So the third thing would be the payment, the automation of peer to multiple peers protocol or process. So just we wanted to announce that we're going to publish it probably tomorrow. And we will also publish the taxonomy that we are creating with all Lightning Network content or resources for you to start having a look at what this is, because it's quite self-explaining, I think, and it's difficult to see if you don't have the tool in front of your eyes.
Okay. Cool. Sounds interesting. Anyway, so you guys expect to put something up on that this week, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've been doing it. Carlos have been doing it with the help of you, David, and some other people that have been contributing with lists of resources of projects and startups and educational resources and some other things. So
is my mic better now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me guys better?
Yes.
Okay, yes, finally my connection, it looks like it kind of improved a little bit. Yes, we have released our source code to GitHub, and yes, we are expecting to launch a few bounties challenge, as my colleague says right now. And yes, we are kind of creating a digital resource map for Lightning Network, and at the same time creating a collaborational microtransactional ecosystem where everything is automated.
Okay, awesome, cool stuff. Okay, anybody got any questions for either Carlos or should we move on to the next point? No.
Just want to share, that's a great idea. That sounds hot. We've had some early conversations with some pretty OG tech startups in Canada they're SaaS businesses that do B2B stuff, and they would love that pay-per-call stuff. Hope you guys get that going.
Cool. Rene, I think the floor is all yours if you want
Thank
to
you.
roll on.
No, sorry, I just want to say thank you, and we in fact Canada is one of the target countries we are considering. So yeah, it will be very nice to explore. We are thinking about exploring that market in the first place.
Yeah, and also let me add, Ari, it's your partner Pavel, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yes, I am Carlos, the one that was in a call with you last week.
Oh yes. Hi Carlos.
Yeah, hi, how are you? And yeah, we just had another call with Pavel about 2 days ago, talking about possible integration of the startup registration into Canada, Alberta.
Absolutely, and we're in Western Canada too. I don't know how many people are in Western Canada, but lots of the miners are going there. It seems like lots of the industry is pouring into Alberta specifically. We're right in the heart of it, just so you guys know.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's great information. Thank you.
Okay, all good. So Rene, I think you're up.
After being announced like 20 times, I take over the first things first, I will try to share my screen with you now. So I hope this should work. Now you should see a presentation, right? And now you still see it in full screen? Okay, perfect. Don't get afraid, it's only 5 slides. It's a small presentation. But I asked David if we could put this topic to the agenda because I think it's really important. You see, it's called Lightning Education, and the question I'm asking is how can we provide open educational resources to the community? So I made a small presentation just that it's a little bit more structured. So mainly it helped me to structure my thoughts, and maybe if you see something, it's also easier in a telco to follow. So, I mean, the status quo is that Lightning is new but growing, and there's already some high-quality contents out. I mean, you can find some great blog posts on Medium mostly, sometimes even news articles in magazines. Sometimes magazines already dare to do this. You find tutorials on blog posts again or on GitHub. Of course, you can read the documentation. I mean, if you look at dev.lightning.community, it's pretty good documentation, actually. And even the Wikipedia articles, I would say, are not so bad. In my opinion, what's missing currently is some place where beginners can go in order for onboarding. So I've talked to some developers that were actually trying to contribute to the big repositories like C-Lightning or LND, and they had this problem of where to start. I mean, the issues are there, but I mean, of course, you don't oversee the entire source code at once, and the developers who are maintaining it are quite busy. And even if they make a pull request, it takes like a month or so until they get feedback. So that is an issue, but not only for developers who want to go to the core, but also if I'm new to Lightning and I want to fire up my node, it's not quite clear which is a good tutorial and how do I start, or even maybe I want to understand how Lightning is working. You know, you don't want to start reading the Lightning paper. Also, I don't see it at any place where it's community maintained. So right now it's a loose bunch of articles, but it's not in one place. And even if there's a place who has some good materials, it's maintained by one person. And I mean, if it's openly licensed, it would be even better. But yeah, and high availability. I mean, if I put it on my blog and my server goes down, then it's also a bad idea. So my idea was to use Wikiversity and Wikimedia Commons. For those who are not familiar with this, Wikimedia Foundation is the foundation behind Wikipedia. And Wikipedia is only one project of Wikimedia Foundation. There's actually 10 projects at all. Wikimedia Commons is a media archive, and Wikiversity is a place for learning materials. So I already started a wiki page on Wikiversity called Lightning Network, and currently it's not really educational resources. It's just a bunch of links and a collection of those. I just wanted to start with a little bit. And I created a category on Wikimedia Commons where I gathered materials. The cool thing about the materials on Wikimedia Commons is they're openly licensed. By default, you cannot upload something to Wikimedia Commons if it's not open licensed. The community will check this, and if it's not, it will be deleted. So everyone who can reuse the materials there and doesn't have to be afraid to do any copyright infringements or something. The advantages are, of course, that instead of hosting a wiki ourselves, that Wikimedia hosts the site with little spam. I mean, obviously people try to do edit spam, but you don't have those bots that are just posting links or something. The database dumps of Wikimedia projects are provided, I think, on a monthly basis. So we could easily, at a later stage, migrate the content if this would be necessary. Wikimedia obviously is a trusted NGO, and the content can also easily be reused in Wikipedia articles, and also from the Wikipedia articles you can link to Wikiversity, which are links that usually get also a good dominance or visibility on the Wikipedia articles, because I mean, for many people, Wikipedia articles are the first place to start off. And yes, according to the terms of services, the license will be open by default. And one cool thing is that on Wikiversity, there is a support for fair use. So if we had to do something like there is content that is not open, we could still do this because it's in an educational environment. So my personal roadmap for this would be is to, first of all, what I already started is to just collect articles and references to existing content, and then create a list of desired articles and topics, mainly from an educational perspective. And then, of course, we need to write the articles, slides, graphics, and if we have all of that, maybe even start to produce video content. Just for reference, in my old job at the university, I created a MOOC on web science. So I'm pretty familiar with this entire process of creating educational resources by just starting basically in this roadmap, and by the end have some nice small videos that are explaining the stuff for people. And then, of course, we need to discuss how to do everything and coordinate this. And the suggestion of David was actually to use our Slack and our Discord. And I forgot to put the Discord link here in the presentation. But if you go to the Discord and to the Slack, there is a channel called Learning. So if you're interested in this, you can easily join those channels, and then we can see how we can work on this together. And then, of course, there's the question, what topics should we do? Well, I mean, of course, we want to educate developers of how to use the technology. So stuff like setting up nodes, how would you create a lab? Then, of course, it would be interesting for a smaller group of people, how can you contribute to the technology? So where is the source code? How is it structured? But then, of course, we should also focus on what consumers can and will be able to do with Lightning. So basically what wallets are out there and what services exist where you can already use Lightning. And then, of course, the other side is about business players. How could they use Lightning? There, my thought is it's probably a little bit similar to the devs, but I mean, then, of course, maybe other people have other ideas. So that's basically everything I had to say. I hope you like the idea. Maybe you know people who are interested in this. Maybe you are interested in it. So, yes, that's basically what I wanted to say. And I don't want to do it alone, basically.
Hey guys, it's Vasil from Lightning Beach. Thank you, René, for your great presentation. It's really cool it's a really cool idea to organize this this materials about the education. Actually, I'm making every week for my team for internal needs. I make a Lightning Network weekly news. So it's kind of email newsletter, which I then send to our Telegram channel, where I post the news which happened in the community of Lightning Network. If you're interested, guys, you can send me your email. I will send you I can send you this newsletter every week as well. And if you're interested to contribute to this newsletter, you can send me, just ping me in Telegram, so I can send the news that you post on your blogspot, or maybe that you found really interesting. It can be also included to this newsletter.
Yeah, just to add to that as well, I think when we started with we were doing a similar similar idea. We were just keeping a Trello board internally, and it was mainly so that when we were onboarding developers who weren't familiar with Lightning, we could say, hey, here's a bunch of resources for you to get up to speed on it. So it does sound like a similar thing, albeit that the Lightning Peach one does sound a lot more formal and newsletter every Monday. So yeah, there was. It's also worth saying as well that Maurice, one of the guys in the group, had mentioned about this a few weeks ago, and he said the same. You know, it's great to go to the events, but sometimes it's costly to get to the events and the time that it takes to get there. So having a place like what Rene's talking about gives us the opportunity to obviously put all these resources up and have people keep up to date without having to attend every event across the world as it pops up. So as Rene said, we've got a learning channel in the Slack, we've got one in the Discord, and in the Discord there's also a voice channel for the learning as well, which will hopefully be a cool place for people to gather. I'm going to, over the next few days, try and look through the group and see which people were just starting out with Lightning, and then try and mention to them that these channels exist so that they can kind of meet in those sort of groups, because I think this week we've had a lot of people join and the conversations are starting to scale out a bit more. So if we can kind of, put people into channels, and maybe this would be a good first one to try that out with. The Graph guys, I think you guys were working on video content. I think you guys mentioned 2 weeks ago you were looking to do video content and tutorials. I don't know if you got any further on that, but maybe this would be something for you guys to contribute to as well if you're getting any further down the line with the video content side of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to do that. It kind of just got deferred there. We had some stuff come up, but and our advisors keep telling us to focus. But we definitely need to do this. And I mean, just for our own customers, it's hard to use this stuff. So we'll be active and contributing in that space, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely more people as well dropping in this group that are just setting up nodes and just getting used to Lightning. So I feel like it's a lot more timely that we get moving on this sooner rather than later as well. So, Rene, what aside from the stuff you mentioned, I mean, what would kind of be next steps for you? Is there anything you want people to think about doing next? Is there anything that we can do to help push it along, or?
So what I'm currently trying to do is I'm trying to gather a community of people, because I mean, with educational resources, especially if you create video content, I mean, once it's created, it's hard to change, right? And also in education, you try to create some structure where you think a little bit about structuring this entire course maybe that could exist. So I don't want to do this alone, because I mean, I have my unique point of view and people might have another one. So currently it's really about gathering people at all to think about structures, right? So if you know people who are interested, or maybe in the newsletter, the call for this could be included. So on the Lightning Hack Day, which we want to talk about in this call again, I will probably do a barcamp session on this, and maybe already provide some first ideas of how we could structure a course or how we could create educational resources. And of course, what everyone can already do is provide links to the wiki. I mean, it will be my core or the core of the community to later organize them. But I mean, the cool thing about a wiki, like GitHub, is, I mean, you can just make a pull request by editing this, right? And then, of course, later we can filter this and so on and so forth. Also on the wiki, I already started to create articles on things like HTLCs or RMSCs. So, I mean, there's a lot of terms in the glossary of Lightning that have to be explained. So all of this can also be done on the wiki. So yeah, everyone can just help out on this. Especially if you see people who create good content, you can, and you know them personally, you could tell them, hey, maybe you want to also share this on the wiki or contribute to the wiki. Sometimes people find this interesting. So this is my idea. Also, Ori, I want to ask, you're together with Pavel in the team, right?
Yep.
Because I think after last call, Pavel and I already had a call about working together on video content. Not a call, but a chat on Telegram. But for some reason, it dried out. So maybe we can stay in contact with this, because I know that in Graph 1 you want to create some video content, like explaining videos and so on. And I mean, that could be done together or could be reused, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think our biggest problem with it too is we're just trying to bite off too much. I think it's a lot smaller of an ask for us to just start making a couple videos and just getting going with it. We don't need to like overthink it too much, which is we're like, oh, we got to make this media platform for all our content. No, we'll just maybe we just get going with some of this stuff, and it's a little easier to go.
That is true, but at least you could maybe share what you're doing. I mean, when you say you start doing and you do these 3 videos, then of course I could maybe say, well, I don't have to do those myself, right? We don't need content like twice, but rather have a broad variety of content. So just at least if we stick a little bit in contact. So I mean, I have a premature list of videos that I'm planning, something like what is the Lightning Network, what is a payment channel, what is a network of payment channels, what is an RSMC, the secret behind HTLCs, why is the Lightning Network so fast, then of course some clickbait content like 5 things you didn't know about the Lightning Network, right? I mean, stuff like this would probably be interesting, but I mean, maybe you have other ideas, or, you know, and even with those videos, you can explain them on a very different technical level, right? So you can go very deep on those, and you can be very high level, and I mean, that's of course can be discussed a little bit.
Yeah, maybe the best thing to do, let's just grab one and let's just start with one, and yeah, let me come back to you after the call, and let's start with one, and that's just the easiest way to take the first step, I guess, for us.
Yeah, actually for me it would also be great if the Lightning Hack Day in Berlin, I guess you are not participating, but if I have 1 or 2 videos actually ready as some kind of a pilot for the Lightning Hack Day, where I could say, look, people, this is what we're planning to do. Will you join us, right? So yeah, let's grab something and start and kick it off. I agree. Just
another tip for you too. I'm not sure if you guys are in the Dragon's Den Mumble, but there's a lot of guys who've been using Lightning Network for months in there. I mean, when I need help, that's where I go, and there's lots of technical guys that are knowledgeable not just about Lightning, but yeah, that's a great place to draw maybe some people who are willing to contribute. They're contributing in other ways. Maybe they don't know about this group. I don't know. I'll try and mention it as I'm in there, and if any of you guys are in there, start picking Lightning people's brains. They're definitely in there.
This is the Bitcoin Mumble, you say, yeah?
Yeah, the Bitcoin Mumble. I think they call it Dragon's Den. I don't know, bitcoinmumble.com or dragonsden.io. It's the same server.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll have a look at it. Cool. Okay. Do we Rennie, anything else you wanna go over, or should we finish off?
No, I think I'm happy with what I did. It's if people join it, I mean, now it's out, and maybe for the next call I will write a blog article, and the hack day is over. I mean, I think I have to do it again and again.
Cool. All right. So open discussion. There was a few points I did. I think there's a few others I'd like to go over as well. But if we start with the hack day, Jeff from Fulmo is organising the Berlin Hack Day. He was going to be on this call but hasn't made it. So I guess it's down to me, Renee, and a few others who might have been at one of these hack days to kind of help push it a bit. But these are essentially a day, I think it's over 2 days now, where everyone meets up in Berlin, talks about Lightning, there's some bar camp sessions, and it's as far as Europe goes, I think it's probably the best event at the moment going on anything Lightning related. So it's in Berlin, and if you're if you can make it to that, it's well worth attending. Rene, you've done a few sessions there, and I think you were at the last one as well, where they had Lightning Labs attending. But yeah, really cool event. And then there's also meetups after it at Bar 77, I think, if I'm getting it right. So yeah, really cool event. Lots of interesting people, and there's a lot of like networking to be done there. Rene, maybe you can explain what it's like from your side as well for people.
Well, what I can say is that I'm in the Fullmo Slack, and they just announced that 100 participants registered. The announcement was like 10 minutes ago, right? So we know already that at least 100 people are coming. Last time 100 was the top limit. I think this time we planned for 150. And I think the most important thing to know for people who are still undecided and might want to come is that it's like the first day is an hackathon, and then the second day is the real Lightning Hack Day. And there is some invited talks, for example, by the people from Blockstream, Christian Decker and Eclair. And if you look on the page, there's more people. And then also there is a bar camp. So that's the main part of the Lightning Hack Day, actually. So you can come up with your own topics, you can pitch them and find people who want to work with you together on those. And that was pretty fruitful last time. So I can encourage just anybody to join these events. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm also going to, Jeff, the Fullmo guys did this call in the week. They're on a podcast in the week, and I am going to drop the link to in the group as well. So if anybody, if me and Rene didn't do a good job of promoting that just then you can go and watch this video for 50 minutes and make a better judgment call as to whether or not it's worth attending. So I will, I'll drop that into the chat. Any questions on Berlin? Anybody want to know anything about that or? Nope. Hopefully all good. All right, cool. So we've got just over 10 minutes left. Another thing that I wanted to just to push whilst we're on the call is that one thing I've been trying to get from our side of the table at Zigzag and kind of pushing a few other guys in the group on is this idea of building in public. So if you are working on a lap, I think it's to everyone's benefit if we're just a bit more open with what we're working on and what problems we're facing, sharing, I don't know, screenshots when you're getting stuck on particular builds, not just sharing successes. I'd kind of push this thing of us doing like live streaming of building a Lightning app, and I know that's probably a lot longer of a video than most people would probably be willing to watch, but kind of just pushing this agenda of building this stuff in public. And I think Rene, when Rene had spoken about, Graph, you guys are working on a certain amount of videos, and then Rene might also be working on those videos, and just everybody sharing what they're working on. I think it goes the same for the laps as well. So instead of saying, hey, I'm working on this, and then finding out somebody else is building at the same time, if we can, I don't know, push this agenda of building a bit more in public, maybe it'd be to everyone's benefit and just help everyone know what everyone's working on and, get more people interested at the same time. I don't know if anybody got any thoughts on that, good, bad, or...
I want to add information about regarding the other topic about the event in Berlin, and is that together with Carlos, we are creating another conference and hackathon in Madrid on September, Madrid, Spain. I've asked Jeff if he wants to get involved or kind of participate or collaborate by extending Lightning Hack Day and move it to an extension in Madrid. And while I'm waiting for his answer, Carlos and Mia are still moving things to create this event, a conference, and trying to bring a panel, and it will be called Madrid Lightning Network, and it'll be only about Lightning Network 2.
Okay, awesome. Did you say you'd spoken to Jeff about doing that, about pushing it from?
No, I spoke to Jeff about like if he wants to collaborate by creating an extension of his event in Madrid. That we are more than happy to have him on board and create an extension of his event. And if that's the case, otherwise we also want to create a community in Spain related with Lightning Network 2. and open the doors internationally.
Okay, awesome. Well, yeah, keep us up to date, because if it's September, then, or if you're looking at September, then yeah, hopefully a few of us could probably get to that if you're able to organise it in time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah. So anyway, on the building public stuff, anybody have any questions on that? Is it a good idea, bad idea, or do we just take it as an interesting point and then move on?
No, I think that's a great idea, and I think it's good to have a wide range of different skill sets in here, because me, for example, I'm not the most technically savvy person. Maybe I can add a line there that might make it easier for someone who's not familiar with Lightning to understand. So I think that collaboration of this whole range of skills is just, that'll be great to generate a range of content for people, not just developers, but also people that are just trying to figure it out and how they can use it.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to try and push from at least the Bitlam Zigzag side of the table for us to try and be a bit more open with what we're working on, and as and when we're building it. But yeah, okay. So I'm trying to think any other points that anybody wants to discuss. The Slack and the Discord, and there's more people joining those. Again, we've had more people join since our call 2 weeks ago. And obviously these conversations, like I said before, are starting to scale. So we're hoping to make channels in Slack and Discord so it's easier for people to track discussions. We are probably going to do the same for individual laps. So Zigzag would have a channel. Graph, maybe you guys would be interested in having a channel. Lightning Peach. Yeah, that is an idea that somebody had spoken about on the last call, and in the last week, it's obviously proven that would be a good idea to have, just to make these conversations easier. Just
something too about Discord. I've actually been trying to be hanging out in there a little bit more. I noticed that nobody seems to connect to the voice groups. I'd love to chat with you guys. If anyone's hanging out, just join that voice chat server, and I try to hang out in there, but it'd be great to see more of you in there.
Yeah, me and Rene were playing about with it this afternoon. It was like two guys in a cave that were discovering each other. Like, are you here? Yeah.
Pretty quiet.
Yeah. So, but yeah, 100%. Message me after the call, because I just want to make sure that I'm using it right, and I'm not keeping the Discord open when I'm, cooking in my spare time, and everyone's like wondering what's going on. So if you want to ping us after the call, and then we can make sure we've got it set up right and try to get a few more people over into it. And then if
I don't know much about the setup of it, but I'll do my best. I'll be happy just to hang out in there with anyone who's working as they go. It's great just to have a room to chat through problems real time if anyone's around,
Yeah, and then if it all dies and we end up not doing this, then maybe we can use it for PUBG sessions, or playing Fortnite or something. Okay, cool. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I had. Is there anybody that wanted to talk about anything else, push anything else, or yeah, I think we might be done at that, unless anyone's got anything else to add.
Are there any initiatives to translate this information